Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the latest episode of uh, NFL101. Let me transition there. Sorry. Sometimes I space out, y'all, if you couldn't tell. Anyway, so welcome back to another episode of NFL 101, episode 16, if you can believe it or not. So we've had a lot of discussions about topics. We've talked about NFL ownership. We've talked about some of the stuff. Now we're gonna this is sort of like a sub series, like the penalties talk. I told you there were, in particular regarding some penalties, that I was gonna, you know, sit there and talk. There were some penalties that I was gonna sit there specifically and talk about. This one, we're talking about important NFL positions, on the field. And this is gonna be another little sub series where it's part of NFL 101. I'm going to explain some of the stuff about it. So what is the first position group I'm going to be talking about? Well, the first position group we're going to be talking about should be obvious. It's the quarterbacks. This is probably on the field. The quarterback is probably one of the most important players that you need to have on the field. We see it all over the league now, and we see it all over, you know, every level of football. If you do not have a good quarterback, you're going to have a tough time. So there are really three groups of quarterback, 3 to 4 groups of quarterback that I have, or that I see. There's the all stars, like Patrick Mahomes, like Tom Brady. I think those guys, the all stars that they do all this stuff good. They do all this stuff great. They do everything you can ask them of. They're super talented. They receive coaching well. They do all the stuff right. They do all the things right. And that leads to multiple championships and what people call a dynasty. Then, underneath the All Stars, oh, okay, hold on. I just realized something. I'm gonna switch this up, y'all. I know I just laid out a category, but really above all stars are the once in a lifetime quarterbacks. You know the the quarterbacks that are it's so clear that they're the right person. They're you know nobody's going to play the game exactly like them. Nobody's going to play the game exactly in the way they do. Think Tom Brady, think Patrick Mahomes, think Joe Montana. Those are the three that come to mind real easily. There are probably others, and I'm open to others. Below that would be the All Stars. They do everything. The once in a lifetime quarterbacks will be a dynasty. The All Stars, the quarterbacks, think Josh Allen, think Joe Burrow. These guys have the capability. I'm not saying they will. They have the capability of winning multiple Super Bowls. They have the talent. They have all the intangibles, but they're they can lift players up. They can ignore certain problems on the field. Below that is middle of the road quarterbacks. These quarterbacks they're not bad, they're not good. Well, they're not like bottom of the league bad, but they're not the ones in the generation. They're not all stars. They're kind of middle of the road. They'll get you to the playoffs every year. They'll win you. They'll give you a winning record every year, and they are capable. And I'll explain that. I'll explain why I say that. They are capable of winning at least one Super Bowl. And then number 4 is is the bottom of the league quarterback. These guys are most likely destined to be backups or play in arena football or play in they're going to play in other leagues. They're not going to make it in the NFL, I should say. Um, they'll be good in those other. They could be good in those other leagues, but for whatever reason, they can't escape the backup role, either because they don't have the talent necessary, or an injury just kind of ruined them mentally speaking. Anyway, so why did I in those middle two tiers, the middle of the road quarterback and the all-star quarterback, why do I say they have the capability of winning at least one Super Bowl or multiple Super Bowls? It's because of one simple reason. Just because you have a quarterback that can play, that can elevate certain players, that can ignore a few flaws, that doesn't mean that the quarterback can do it all. While the quarterback is an immensely important part of the league, and some people even say the most important position in the league, it doesn't mean they can do it all. Now, people will say, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes is an all-star quarterback. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it against Tom Brady, and he couldn't do it this last year." Yeah, but we've seen him win 3 Super Bowls with, when he was down by 10 points, without Tyreek Hill, and 2 years ago, he had with multiple drops. So, a one of one quarterback or a 1 in a million quarterback, once in a generation, whatever you call it, that will get you to the Super Bowl almost every year. Unless they have a really bad game where they play really badly, they make a whole bunch of mistakes, and even they can't get it out of it. They will get you this. They will do their best to get you to the conference championship game, and after that, to the Super Bowl if they can. An all-star quarterback has those capabilities, has the capability of getting you to the conference championship and winning you the Super Bowl. He has those capabilities, but he does not have the capability of building a dynasty, which means he has somebody like Josh Allen. He has all the talent. He has all the intangibles. I can't say the word right. He has all the intangibles. If you can hear it, the cat feeder's going off for the cats. So they're eating food right now. But he has all the intangibles. But there are flaws in his team that he can't overcome. Again, the best example is look at Joe Burrow. His entire career, he has had bad offensive line play. And that has affected him enough to where he's only gotten to 1 Super Bowl his entire career. Now, he could get to another one and win it, but we have yet to see. We have yet to see it. So just because a quarterback is capable of winning a Super Bowl or multiple Super Bowls in the span of their careers, sometimes they won't. And that capability gets less and less as you go down through the tiers of NFL quarterback play. So I'm not saying a bottom of the quarterback can't help get you and win you a Super Bowl, but you got to understand you have to have basically an all-star team. Every other part of that team has to be buttoned down, has to have a top 10 at least a top 10 player in their in that position on your team. So think of Jerry Rice in receiver. Think of Kelsey or Gronk in the tight end role. Put together the best offensive line, put together the best defensive line. Think of Troy Polamalu. Get the best secondary together. Get the best wide receiver room. Every single thing in order for a bottom of the I hate saying it, but in order for a bottom of the barrel quarterback to win a Super Bowl, every other position has to be the best in that position at that time or possibly ever to even sniff the playoffs, much less get to and win a Super Bowl. Um, that being said, it has happened before. Um, and again, middle of the road quarterbacks, this is kind of where it gets weird. It's they have there are middle of the road quarterbacks that aren't necessarily bad. They're just mostly stat guys. They're just like, oh, I can do good in the regular season, but once it gets postseason, I freak out. But again, you know, they can win a Super Bowl, but their talent has to be the talent around them has to be just kind of just right. Now you don't have to have the best talent at every position like you do with the bottom of the barrel guy. I hate saying that because it sounds mean. I don't want to be mean to these guys, but there's a lot. They lack a lot when they're in the NFL. Anyway, so that's that. Uh, you know, that's a brief explanation of why the quarterback position is important and why they can't really do everything themselves. With that, I'll see you guys later. Uh, have a good rest of your night, or whenever you're looking at this.